The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Sorry, I think I was muted. I'll start again. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, uh, Thanks for registering and joining this webinar. Today's topic is APT attacks and zero trust security. The reason I took up this topic is because of the recent SolarWinds cyber attack, which is a APT attack and also supply chain attack. The reason I took up zero trust security is because I had done recently a survey on LinkedIn, and I had requested everyone to choose one of the topics that I should be talking about, and zero trust security was one of the highest rated voted topic. So that's the reason I have taken up, and it also is one of the solution that we should have for APT attacks to protect our organization from APT attack. One of the strategies, I would say. So that's the reason I took up this topic. Let's move on. Okay, one second. Not able to move the screen. I'm just checking this. Okay. Uh, yeah, now it has moved. Sorry about that. So, the agenda for today's discussion is what is an APT attack, APT attack phases, recent APT attacks. We are also going to discuss about the APT attack groups. Quickly, we will see also the SolarWind hack in detail. We'll also see ways to safeguard from APT attacks and the zero trust security overview. Um, and of course, we'll take up questions and answers in the end if there are any. Um, we'll be doing that. So, this is a quick introduction about myself. I hope my screen is visible. If it is not, please put it in the chat box um, so that I understand that if there are any issues with the screen or the webcam, so that I can check here. Okay, so this is a quick introduction. Um, oops. Okay. So this is a quick introduction about myself. I have 2 decades of experience in cybersecurity, information security, and cloud, as well as governance, risk, and compliance. I mean, it's self-readable, so you can just check it. My LinkedIn account, if you want to connect with me, this is the website and the email ID. This is my personal website. This is to promote cybersecurity among everyone, and this is not my company website. So just to clarify to everyone, so this kind of webinars that I'm doing is mainly to give I mean provide more, share my knowledge rather to with the audience, with the attendees. Okay, so what is an APT attack? An advanced persistent threat attack, that is APT, is an organized cyber attack by a group of skilled, sophisticated threat actors. So it is not like the usual hit and run kind of attacks where the attackers will just do some kind of hack and then vanish, or it's kind of a persistent attack. It's the name itself says advanced persistent threat, where the attackers plan it quite in detail. They carefully strategize the attack and carry it out over a prolonged period. So here APTs are a compound attacks involving multiple stages. So we will see what are those stages and variety of attack techniques. Many common attack vectors initially were introduced as part of the APT campaign with zero-day exploits and malware. So there are multiple ways the APT attackers plan it. There are various groups of APT attackers that also we'll discuss, who use various techniques to get into the organization data and then uh, create backdoors or have Trojan kind of attack that they will plant it so that they can gain access to the confidential information. Um, Sorry. So, APT attacker goals and consequences faced by the organizations. So, whenever an APT attack happens, their goal is either to do theft of intellectual property, It could be the classified data, it could be the personal identifiable information PII or sensitive data, it could be sabotage like the database deletion, it could be cyber espionage, uh, it could be the complete site takeover, obtaining data on infrastructure for reconnaissance and purposes, obtaining credentials to critical systems, access to sensitive or incriminating communications. So these are some of the goals. Mainly, the attacker wants to. It could be cyber warfare. Also, it could be organized crime, where the some of the countries like Korean countries or China is trying to plan some kind of attack on other countries or some of the top organizations that we have seen in the recent past. So, what are the APT attack phases? So, these are the 6 phases where APT attack is executed. In these multiple stages, from initial access by attackers to ultimate exfiltration of the data and follow on attacks. So, initially, the hacker will start with the initial access, where they'll start with the APT groups. They start their campaign by gaining access to a network via one of the 3 attack surfaces, which could be web-based systems, network, or human users. They typically achieve access via the malicious upload, searching for and exploiting application vulnerabilities, gaps in your security tools. Uh, like, for example, the FireEye got uh, hacked because of this SolarWinds Orion software vulnerability, right? So those are also some of the things that the hacker keeps checking. And most commonly is the spear phishing emails targeting the employees with privileged accounts. So if someone does not know what is spear phishing, these are the targeted emails being sent to the employees, stating that maybe their bosses, they pretend as their bosses, or some other employee in the organization, and they send it to targeted employees saying that, trying to say that there is some important email and click on that email, and they will get access. Once they click it, the malware will spread, and it gets, they get access to, the hacker get access to the privileged accounts. The goal is to infect the target with malicious software. Oops, sorry about that. So the next step is the malware deployment, right? After the hacker gets access, the attacker compromises the penetrated systems by installing a backdoor shell, um, a Trojan masked as legitimate software, or malware that allows them the network access and remote control of the penetrated system. An important milestone is to establish an outbound connection to their command and control system. APTs may use advanced malware techniques such as encryption, obfuscation, or code rewriting to hide their activity. So, as I said, they could use various techniques, right? It could be Trojan, it could be even the ransomware attacks that happened, the WannaCry, or the not no PT attack. Those were also APT attacks. That was something they combined ransomware and APT, and they launched those attacks that happened in past. Then the next step is expand access and move laterally. So attackers use the first penetration to gather more information about the target network. They may use brute force attack or exploit other vulnerabilities they discover inside the network. So once they gain the access in your organization through the privileged access, they start moving laterally so that they can discover inside the network to gain deeper access and control additional, more sensitive systems. Attackers install additional backdoors and create tunnels, allowing them to perform lateral movement across the network and move data at will. So once this they start moving laterally and start exploiting the network and the systems, sensitive systems, then they stage the attack. Once they gain confidence that I have got enough access and enough data that I should be attacking. So once they have set their ground, they then, once they have expanded their presence, attackers identify the data or assets and transfer it to a secure location inside the network, typically encrypted and compressed to prepare for exfiltration. This stage can take time. So they may be there persistent in the network for months together, maybe 2 to 3 months, or maybe an year together, as attackers continue to compromise more systems and transfer the data to secure storage. So the next is exfiltration or damage infliction. Finally, the attackers prepare to transfer the data outside the organization system, that is where they want. They will often conduct a white noise attack, such as the distributed denial of service attack, to distract security teams while they transfer the data outside the network perimeters. Afterwards, they will take steps to remove forensic evidences of the data transfer. So this is the last stage. This is the last stage where they move the data out of the organization so that they and they try to misguide the defenders in the organization, the cyber security teams or the network security team, saying that they'll try to perform some kind of DDoS attack, which will distract the security teams, and they think that it's a DDoS attack, but actually they are transferring the data safely to their location that they have decided. And depending on the goal of the attack, at this point, the APT group may create massive damage, debilitating the organizations or taking over critical assets such as websites or data centers. So, like I was saying, WannaCry and NotPetya was a massive attack, massive damage, and recently the SolarWinds is also one of the recent attack that we saw for APT. Follow-up attacks if the APT attack involved a silent data exfiltration which was not detected. Attackers will remain inside the network and wait for additional attack opportunities. Over time, they may collect additional sensitive data and repeat the process like it happened in case of Equifax, where there were multiple attacks that was executed in that particular hack. They will also aim to create backdoors that are difficult to detect, like in case of SolarWinds. So even if they are caught, they can regain the access to the system in future. So APT attack method, this is just one example. Sorry for if it is not so clearly visible, but I think the second figure, the picture is visible clearly. So this is an example where the attacker, based on the initial analysis of the logs, as a security expert, I will, once the attack has been executed, I will go and do initial analysis of the security logs, and then I find out that the total of 62 machines were infected. 10 of them were servers, 13 were machines with binaries capable of file scraping and data exfiltration. 22 were machines with backdoor shells, while the rest hosted other tools and normal applications. Backdoor allows the attacker to execute commands using cmd.exe. Tools like Mimikatz were also used to acquire user accounts. Network scanning tools were used to find other machines to infect and were included in a malicious network. So I would go and check all of these when I try to analyze the logs. It could be from the endpoint detection and response logs, or it could be other security solutions that I gather the logs into the SIEM solution. And I identify all of these, I find out who actually has done it. So we'll talk about the MITRE attack framework later in the call, so where you will understand what I'm talking about. I mean, how this example is matching there. So we can use MITRE attack to identify the who has executed and how the APT attack has been executed. So these are the data exfiltration methods used. So there are two ways it can be done. One is overt channel and one is a covert channel, which is on an encrypted network as well. The data exfiltration can be done. So in overt channel, it is HTTP downloads, it could be FTP, it could be email, instant messaging system, P2P, file sharing services, HTTPS, SCP, or secure FTP. On covert channels, it is the encrypted channel like SSH, VPN, protocol tunneling, box, Dropbox uploads, image steganography, VoIP steganography, timing channel network. I mean, these are some of the examples that the data exfiltration methods can be used both in overt as well as covert channels. So some of the top APT attacks that we have seen, just want to quickly highlight some of the top attacks. In December 2020, SolarWinds Orion cyber attack is suspected to be executed by APT 29, which is a Cozy Bear APT group, where 18,000 customer networks were impacted. FireEye was the first who reported the cyber attack. Even Microsoft came up and said that they were impacted. And they also released a couple of information on how to safeguard from this cyber attack. In November 2020, Microsoft revealed that hackers backed by Russia and North Korea have targeted pharmaceutical companies involved in COVID-19 vaccine development effort. So the hackers have also they have targeted the pharmaceutical companies to get the information about the COVID-19 vaccine development. There is an APT group called Lazarus Group, and other threat actors have allegedly been actively trying to steal COVID-19 research, likely to speed up their own country's vaccine development efforts. So Lazarus is one of the APT group, which is likely seeking to steal intellectual property to report back in North Korea, according to Kaspersky researchers. Lazarus recently attacked both a pharma company and a governmental health ministry related to the pandemic response. Researchers reported that the hacks were strictly aimed at information theft. The government health ministry was attacked in late October in the midst of developing a COVID-19 vaccine. So Lazarus Group has been quite active to get the information about COVID-19 vaccine development. Then there is Operation Aurora that was conducted on Google, which was a series of cyber attacks which used advanced persistent threats such as one. There is Elderwood Group based in Beijing, China, with ties to the People Liberation Army, first publicly disclosed by Google on January 12, 2010. In a blog post, the attacks began in mid 2009 and continued through the December 2009. So this is one of the reason Google came up with the zero trust architecture, and they came up with uh, they disclosed that this Operation Aurora, where the database got compromised because of the advanced persistent threat. Then there is Madison cyber attack. Ashley Madison was subject to huge hacking by a group called the Impact Team in 2015. Ashley was asked to shut down, but they did not do it. So 28 GB data was uploaded in the darknet or wild. It was breached. Ashley Madison was breached. The data was breached. Then there's Shamoon cyber attack. Shamoon is a virus that it's a virus that was used to attack a Saudi Aramco network in Saudi Arabia by a virus on 15th August 2012, which damaged almost 30,000 hard drives of the desktop and prevented them from carrying out operations. No evidence were found regarding the attempts made by the attackers for stealing significant information. Um, And there is another attack on November 24, 2014. A hacker group which identified itself by the name of Guardians of Peace leaked the release of confidential data, which is a Sony picture hack, right? It's quite famous hack that happened, where this APT group, Guardians of Peace, leaked a release of confidential information. During the hack, the group demanded that Sony withdraws its then upcoming film, The Interview, a comedy about a plot to assassinate. Uh, it was related to some North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, and they threatened that there will be terrorist attacks at cinemas screening the film. After many major U.S. cinema chains opted not to screen The Interview in response to these threats, Sony elected to cancel the film's formal premiere and mainstream release. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the NotPT attack was a unique cyber attack that wreaked havoc around the world in June 2017, which was immediately followed by the WannaCry ransomware outbreak. NotPT started in Ukraine and rapidly spread around the world. And then it caused almost a damage of $500 million to $1 billion. And the malware type was ransomware, but the kind of attack that was done was the APT attack, and it was done by the Russia's suspected group called Black Energy APT group. So these are some top attacks. There are many such APT attacks that have happened, but these are some of the big ones and the top attacks that we have seen. Let me move on to the next slide. Then top attack APT attack groups. So these are some of the top APT attack groups: the GhostNet, then there is Stuxnet, Deep Panda, APT 28, APT 29, APT 34, 37, and 38. So if you go to MITRE website, you will find all these groups listed out there very uh, uh, in detailed manner. It is nicely detailed out. So if I look at the APT 29, right? I mean, of course, I'm not going through each and every group. You can check from your side and read it. Stuxnet, of course, is a famous one where the SCADA systems were targeted, and it's a Stuxnet is the malware that targets SCADA systems. Was able to disrupt the activity of machinery in the Iranian nuclear program without the knowledge of their operators. Even though it was not connected to internet, they used USB device to release the malware. Then there is the famous one APT 29, which I mentioned, Cozy Bear, classified by the United States federal government as Advanced Persistent Threat APT 29, which is a Russian hacker group believed to be associated with one or more of the intelligence agencies of Russia. So this group tends to cast a wide net, sending out thousands of phishing emails to a broad set of targets. This is notable as most nation-state attackers prefer to conduct more focused operations against a smaller set of targets. But Cozy Bear always targets a larger audience, larger organizations rather, not audience, or larger organizations or countries, and then they will launch the phishing attacks so that people get compromised and they can easily gain access. Then APT 38 Hidden Cobra or Lazarus group has been operating since 2009, are mainly responsible for WannaCry ransomware attacks, Sony Pictures hack, and recent COVID-19 attack. So APT 38 is also quite active in uh, APT attacks. Then let us look at SolarWinds APT supply chain cyber attack, right? So what happened actually in SolarWinds cyber attack? Meanwhile, let me check while I discuss this whether things are fine. Am I audible and is it everything's okay? Can someone confirm in the chat box? I can see there are attendees, but I don't see anything. I see Nitish, Satish, Triveni, couple of others have joined, but I don't see a response in the chat box. Okay, I'm assuming that I'm audible and I'll just move on. Sorry. Okay, SolarWinds Orion network monitoring software updates were injected with malware malicious software, which is SolarWinds is a network monitoring solutions provider, right? It's a third party vendor whose product is being used by hundreds and thousands of customers across the world. So they have a software called Orion network monitoring software, and their update server was injected with malware malicious software because those updates appear to be legitimate but had remote access Trojan or RAT and provides unauthorized and backdoor access, which leads to stealing of files, modifying files and company secrets data, and got compromised in March 2020 itself. This is called a supply chain attack as SolarWinds are used as product and customers installed the malware. APT 29 Cozy Bear Group hacked the updated servers and got the username and passwords. They used code repositories such as GitHub based on lack of knowledge and stored. So, I mean, someone in the organization, right? Because of lack of knowledge, they might have stored the username and password on GitHub, and they were able to gain access to that. Um, I mean, these are some of the techniques you can safeguard yourself. Like you can use password manager. Don't use same password multiple sites on multiple sites. Don't store password on GitHub or public cloud. Don't click on malicious links sent through email known as phishing attack. Don't install applications from untrusted sources. Okay, now quickly to talk about MITRE attack framework. This is one of the very good framework available. If you go to attack.mitre.org, you will get the details what I'm talking about. You can use this framework to analyze and find out, like I was saying in earlier one of the slides, that you can use MITRE attack to identify which group has done the attack and what is the method they have used to do the attack, and you can find out the command and control, as well as what is the techniques, tools and techniques used, which is known as TTPs. So analysis of the exfiltration tools showed that the attackers were mostly interested in document files such as Microsoft Office documents and PDF. It was also evident that attack has been in progress for quite some time. So this is one of the example I have taken where you can use a MITRE to analyze and find out that who is, for example, in this case it is APT 32, because based on the mapped intrusion techniques, the group initially suspected was APT 32 as referenced against MITRE attack. So you can go through this site and then I mean, this is not a MITRE attack webinar, so I will do that separately. But here I'm just giving a glimpse of how MITRE attack is helpful in identifying the APT attack. Then protection measures to safeguard from APT attacks. APT attacks, a multifaceted attack, and defenses must include multiple security tools and techniques and a defense in depth strategy. Some of these include email filtering, phishing and spam reporting and filtering, endpoint protection, access controls, monitoring of traffic, user and entity behavior, network segmentation gateway, user awareness training on cybersecurity. So, talking about email filtering, most of the APT attacks leverage phishing to gain initial access. So, what you have to do is you have to filter the emails and block malicious links or attachments within emails, which can stop these penetration attempts by the APT groups. Then you should have phishing and spam reporting and filtering solution in your organization, wherein phishing email should be identified by the employees of the organization and should be reported immediately. So you should also such phishing email should be quarantined or deleted immediately, right? So that the phishing and spam reporting and filtering option should be available, where which you can use it via your Outlook email, and you can have that option as fish report fish, and then the employees can click and report to the security team, and they can investigate it further, and the email should be quarantined immediately. Then there is endpoint protection, where all APT attacks involve takeover of endpoint devices. Advanced anti-malware protection and endpoint detection and response (EDR) can help identify and react to compromise of an endpoint by APT actors. So endpoint detection response has an option where you can configure MITRE attack framework, and using that you can very quickly identify if there are any malware or Trojan or anything that has been launched on the endpoints. So this is a very good solution, I would say. Then access control, strong authentication measures, and close management of user accounts with a special focus on privileged accounts can reduce the risk of APT. So if you have, this is what we will discuss in the zero trust security, where we are talking about the access controls also is one of the area that we should configure in such a way that we don't trust the user, we don't trust anyone rather, and we have zero trust and verify everything is what we are going to have. Monitoring of traffic, user and entity behavior. This is called a sandbox solution, where it can help identify penetration, lateral movement, and exfiltration at different stages of the APT attack. Sandbox solutions help to identify where it will collect all the data, right? Whatever kind of attack happens or whatever traffic is moving, or the user activity, those are recorded in the sandbox solutions, and you can actually identify what kind of penetration and lateral movement is happening using that. FireEye also has one of the sandbox solutions. Network segmentation gateway or next generation firewall with network micro segmentation capability. So now as this zero trust is coming into picture, now zero trust framework or architecture, network segmentation gateway is becoming quite a useful solution right now, I would say, which in some cases it is part of next generation firewall itself, where it has the capability of network micro segmentation. So if you want to contain or stop a cyber attack, you can do that very quickly in case of a micro segmented network. User awareness training on cybersecurity. Conduct cybersecurity awareness training to employees at all levels regularly to ensure employees do not click on malicious links. So phishing attack is spear phishing or phishing attack is a major uh, way of a method that is used by APT group. So making sure that employees do not click on malicious links is very important. Then there is what is zero trust security, right? So let's now quickly look at, we have around 20 minutes now. So I'll quickly take this up for another 10 minutes. What is zero trust security, right? This is quite uh, topic discussed right now within the organizations. So zero trust security is a model that came in 2010 and originally named as zero trust model by John Kinderwag. He's a security analyst at Forrester Research, and currently he works with Palo Alto Networks. So he coined this term zero trust model in 2010. The old model is trust but verify, where we trusted the user's network interfaces but don't do verification, but traffic is trusted. So it's kind of a broken trust model. In zero trust model, it is not anymore that we trust the user's network or interfaces. It means we verify but never trust anything on our network. Zero trust is a security concept centered on the belief that organizations should not automatically trust anything inside or outside its perimeters, and instead must verify anything and everything trying to connect to its systems before granting access. The strategy around zero trust boils down to trust. Don't trust anyone. That means cut off all access until the network knows who you are. Don't allow access to IP addresses, machines, etc. until you know who that user is and whether they are authorized. So, as I said, you don't trust anyone, and but however, you verify all the access. The three major concepts of zero trust security is all resources must be accessible to secure in secure manner, especially in work from anywhere options. So right now we saw during the pandemic that all are working from home and anybody is connected from anywhere. So in this scenario, the access should be secured, and the data should be secured regardless of the location. Enforced access control in a granular manner, that is on a need to know basis and with the least privilege principle. Inspect and log all the traffic on your network. So these three are the major concepts of zero trust security. Then this is one of the tool that is available from Microsoft to perform zero trust assessment, which is very good and useful tool. I recommend, or rather I would suggest that if you can check out this tool. The Zero Trust Assessment tool will help you determine where you are in your journey across your identities, devices, apps, infrastructure, network, and data, and will tell you which maturity stage you are, whether you are at traditional, advanced, or optimal stage. The assessment will provide recommendations on how to progress to the next stage. Okay. So zero trust security is perimeterless security versus perimeter security, right? So we have traditional perimeter based security where we have this traditional hierarchical network at edge location. We have some devices, core, and then distribution, and then we give the access. So this is the hierarchical perimeter based security. But in zero trust security, like I was mentioning, you have micro segmentation. So you have the next generation firewall or the gateway, microsegmentation gateway, which actually segments the data based on your application, right? So your application is identified, and then you work backwards, saying that do I need to really safeguard this particular application, and what kind of data is being safeguarded. So based on that, you work backwards to secure that particular application and data, and you use the microsegmentation approach in your network. So currently, as I mentioned, I mean, we have when we look at the zero trust security, we consider perimeter less security and connect from or access from anywhere. So the scenario is that you have different locations people are connected from. You have wired desktops, your corporate laptops, you have plant and manufacturing sites connecting to your network, your third parties with own laptops. You have BYOD smartphone, bring your own device smartphones. You have ERP solutions. You have Internet of Things. You have SaaS-based solutions like email, Office app storage, back office cloud. Then you have IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Then PaaS solutions, which are all connecting to your network, right? So in this kind of situation, zero trust security is becoming very important when all your on-prem as well as cloud environment you're accessing and connecting to your network. So there is some confusion between zero trust and software SDP as well as the VPN network, right? So they are not the same. However, SDP and VPN can use zero trust security, like you can see here in this diagram. So VPN encrypts the connection between remote authorized users and company network. The goal of VPN is to provide employees with secure remote access to company resources. And SDP is software defined perimeter may replace VPNs. It is the next decade. Together, SDP and VPN can reduce attack surfaces to protect data, right? So you can use zero trust security using SDP and VPN. So they are not the same. Like in case of zero trust, it restricts the access for all traffic that attempts to access network resources. Goal is to fill the gap in traditional network security architecture to prevent any insider or outside attacks. So here you are seeing newer than VPN technology. SDPs can use zero trust models to enhance security, right? So this is something which is very important to understand. Then NIST has a zero trust security architecture. I have provided the link here, which is called as SP 800 207, which talks about a similar situation where I mentioned that three concepts of zero trust security. So it should have a data access policy, public key infrastructure defined ID management, SIEM system for logging and monitoring, and then threat intelligence solution, industry compliance, and CDM system. So you should have your control plane and data plane defined, and it should be running through policy engine. So this is one of the architecture that is shared by. So you have untrusted as well as trusted. Once it goes through the policy enforcement point, it converts from untrusted to trusted enterprise resource. So you have different policies which you enforce in your organization, and especially from the access control perspective and the network perspective, so that you convert the trusted system to enterprise trusted resource, untrusted to trusted resource. So zero trust security has three approaches. You can use identity governance and identity as perimeters. So everything, whatever goes through, you can identify the user or the device of the user and then give the access based on identity governance. And there is a model where you use microsegment. You can actually combine all three of these. It's not that you have to follow only one. So you can mix and match depending on your organization how you are going to achieve this. So you can also achieve this through microsegmentation. And then you are using software defined perimeter and network infrastructure, like I was saying earlier, where you will combine this both. So zero trust is implemented at user, device, application, and network traffic level. It is not just at one level or some application, but it is across the user, device, application, and network. So zero trust implemented at user level is basically what it does is you centralize the identities across into one directory, which is important and helps informing the trust. So zero trust will want user location, who they report to, and extra authentication like the multi-factor authentication. How do you authenticate the identity? Like I mentioned, multi-factor authentication, like something they know, something they have, and something they are, and pairing two of these methods, which makes a stronger user authentication. So this is at the user level. Then at the device level, fully patched operating system and fully patched software. Device hygiene is important and gives us confidence that the device can be validated without an issue. You have secure boot to combat against malware and malicious attacks at the device firmware level. And then you have device certificates like client-based certificates signed by the CA help give more trust, right? Certifying authorities. Then zero trust implemented at application level, fully patched operating system and fully patched software. Device hygiene is important. Similarly, at application level also, it is similar. Zero trust implemented at traffic level, right? So application level, another thing which is missed out here is the software level patch updates has to be applied on a regular basis, as well as there should be segregation between the whenever the developer test and production environment. If that is not possible, somebody has to review it, the activity performed by these three in these three environments. And of course change management. Zero trust implemented at traffic level requires encryption and authentication. Integrity of traffic is important. Encryption integrity is important so that encryption cannot be open to misuse by adversaries. Then systems that rely on internet, we should consider both internet and intranet as same, is what zero trust says, that you should consider your intranet internal traffic also as exposed as internet because of the insider attacks. um, and you should have pre-authentication for the DCP connection, as well as the keys are provided to an authorized client. So key takeaways of zero trust security is ZTS is an architecture state of mind that needs to be implemented and not just any product or solution. You have to align. So it is that zero trust security is, it's a kind of architecture, right? So you need to understand whether it really suits well for my organization. Of course, in this work from home kind of situation, it really suits well, I believe. And then it should align with the business strategy. Design for internet and implement for both internet and intranet. Go for quick wins, such as, for example, HTML5 apps must deliver or HTTPS. Remove insecure protocols. Improve your processes around user identity. Implement micro-segmentation design in your network. Then these are something which you can do it immediately if you have not done already. Then identify all your devices and locations on your network. Develop internet mentality for your intranet as well. Some of the useful references are Google's Beyond Corp, which they developed it based on the Aurora APT attack that happened, which I had mentioned in my last slide, a few, the previous slides that we discussed. And then NIST Zero Trust Architecture is also a useful reference. Okay, so are there any questions? Let me check. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. So I see there is one question which says, Can the zero trust be used on the cloud environment? So yes, zero trust can be used on the cloud environment. Uh, I mean, it's the same, right? Like I was saying in one of the slides that I was sharing earlier. If we look at that slide again quickly, this slide where I was saying that the cloud as well as on-prem environment connects to the network. So definitely in the cloud environment also we should have the micro-segmentation. If you are using Azure or AWS, you have the option of using virtual private cloud, and in Azure you have virtual machine which uses micro-segmentation already. So you can use I mean, it can be zero trust can be implemented on cloud as well as on-prem, and you should have proper access controls as well on the cloud as you have on your on-prem. Um, and most of the public cloud providers have some of the features available, which is requirement of zero trust architecture, like multi-factor authentication, single sign-on. There is micro-segmentation, there is application level security, there is data security available in AWS and Azure as well as Google Cloud. So Google also has come up with some of the architecture. If you go to beyondcorp.com, Google has an architecture for zero trust security. So yes, it can be implemented. I don't see any other questions. You can always get back to me on my email ID, which I had shared here in my profile. So you can always write to me if you have any questions. We can always discuss. Anyways, I'm going to take up zero trust security specific webinar maybe next month, not this month. So I'll discuss more in detail there. Any other questions anyone has? Let me check. No, not as of now. All right. So I'm assuming there are no further questions and I can end the all for today. Thank you everyone for joining and have a great day or great evening depending on the location you are in, and hope to catch up soon in the month of and there is a webinar that's coming up on 8th of January. That's with Jane Frankland. I'm going to talk to her more on cybersecurity and her experiences in cybersecurity and share some tips about cybersecurity. So you should subscribe to that. I have shared the link on my LinkedIn page, so you can check there and register for that if you're not done already. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.